Hi, my name is Tracy. This is my daughter Robin. We are Salted Words. We have a business that we started making signs. Many moons ago, about 10 years ago, I saw some signs in a little storefront downtown, and they were very expensive, and I really wanted them. So I brought it home to Robin. She was in high school at the time. I said, I love these signs. What do you think? She said, let's do it, Mom. So we made them. She would come home after school and she would work on these signs. We made a whole group of them. And then ultimately we ended up taking them to
craft events. We started all of our signs at like craft fairs. Back when they were like, there wasn't many of them. So we had our select few and we had a really good time. We started in my mom's back garage, which is like every American story, I feel like. However, that is how we started. It was just a little one-car garage. We loved it back there, but it was nothing fancy at all. We had
tight fit
our table saw, and we could barely even fit like a full 4x8 sheet of plywood standing up. So we always had to like maneuver it through the door. But we did that for up until, so we started in 2011 back there. No,
I don't know. It was
2010 or 2011. It was really long ago. But we worked there up until 2017. And then we bought this facility that we're sitting in, which was a huge accomplishment of ours. So yeah, it just was a really cool start to what we do now.
We this building had been abandoned, left for dead. Nobody wanted it. It was beat up. It was
an old tire shop.
It was an old tire shop. And it was full of tires and it was full of grime.
And we live in a town that is what, 4,500 people?
It goes from 4,500 to 6,000.
So just very, very little. So everyone knew what this building was.
It was really bad. Like we could not. One day we'll show you pictures of how bad it was. There was a mound of trash in the back that was probably 12 foot high and 24 foot wide. Like the whole center of the building was trash. So it was a really big accomplishment to see this place be transformed and come alive and be beautiful again. And it became Salted Words headquarters. We have a production space in the back where we still make wooden signs. We love to make words that inspire you, decor for your home, on your walls, and I mean, words just seem to fit perfectly to form a podcast.
So, well, to rewind a little bit as well. So we did work in the back garage. We worked for years before we even started any kind of online business. We did shows. Locally just to make money to be able to start. And then someone at one of our shows introduced us to Etsy. So we started our first Etsy shop in 2013. And that is what really propelled us to be able to become what we are at this point. So that was really cool that we could, and I mean, even 10 years ago, the internet is not what it is today. Yeah. So we were, even to have an Etsy shop was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, you know? So that was one thing that really, really was really cool, to be able to start an online shop and then turn it into something way bigger.
Yeah, we started, I actually had forgotten about that. One of our most popular craft shows that we did, that event, several people asked us about Etsy. It was meant to be. Like the universe was letting us know something. So that took a while to get accustomed to Etsy. Also, anything that you do that's new takes time to kind of form a rhythm within it. And once we did, though, it took off like wildfire. And that was part of the catalyst for us needing a bigger space because my 1-car garage was not cutting it. So if you just to picture it, we were working in a 1-car garage, space heaters. The ceiling was barely tall enough for me to turn a 4x8 sheet of plywood that we used to make our signs. All of the packaging and computer work, pictures, what have you, took place inside my house and my dining room table. It was quite the adventure. It was the start of a beautiful journey, though. And now we have all the space that I feel like we could ever need for wood signs. So yeah, it's been a really beautiful journey. And now here we are. We were interested in doing interviewing people. We did lots of Tuesday talks on salted words. So that kind of was part of the workings to get us here as well.
Well, another cool part about our story is we can't do any of this without God. And even to be where we are today is very just incredible to think about our story in the past, just because, it could have been so different. We could have never, gotten this building or got, any advancements in our work that we have been able to do up to this point. However, we're working in the back garage, and actually you should tell that story about where Salted Words even came from, because that is a huge part of.
So our original business was called Ryan's Place. It's my son's name, Robin's brother. I have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. And he showed us how to work all of the power tools, super excited about it. And so we named our business Ryan's Place. That was our original company name. And we started getting busy. I'll never forget our first Christmas. We had a stack of signs, maybe 20, 25 signs. And we were so excited. And we're giggling because Christmases became more like astronomical. I don't even know how many signs we would sell at Christmas at this time, where it evolved into. But I was sitting in the dining room one day, and this thought had been crossing my mind. The name Salted Words. Like God poured this name into me. He placed this name into me, and I really didn't know what to do with it. So I said, Robin, do you want to open another sign shop? And she said, she always says, sure to me. Oh, she's always game to go, ready to go for any antics that I might have. So that's where Salted Words came from. The name itself came from God, and it's out of Colossians. Salt your words so that you may know how to answer every man. And it's just a way of speaking and a way of encouraging people and loving people. And the long and short of it is words are power. Words.
Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person.
Yes. Love that. So we have the idea of it. We try to live that out. And putting words on your walls, inspirational words on your walls, is encouragement. It enriches a home. It enriches a family. We communicate with each other, obviously, with words. We are educated with words. Words are a huge part of life. Jesus himself was the Word. So Salted Words, the name itself is very meaningful to us. And who knows where God will take us.
Well, and that's testimony part 1. So part 2 is years later, after we have Salted Words. We have been gaining some traction on social media, and we're working with all these influencers, and we're getting some really good collaborations going, and we're just kind of pumping out the work. We're seeing that our space is getting smaller and smaller as each day goes by. And this building had been vacant for, I think it was 8 years, is what someone had told us. And I'm driving by it. I'm just praying about, like, we need a space. We're not financially really there yet to buy a whole building, but we need something. So we had an inquiry on a piece of land. We were going to try to build on it, but that didn't work out because it wasn't developed at all. And then I drive by this building and I asked God if we could have it. And he led the way of finding who owned it, finding, like how much he wanted for it. That ended up being like all the puzzle pieces fell into place, and then we were able to buy it. So it was just really cool. Like, I don't know if I'd do it again based on how bad it was, but God kind of like blinded us. I feel like he blinded both my mom and I to see how actually horrible it was, because everyone told us. Everyone was like, that building needs to be bulldozed. Even the city was like, if no one had done anything with it, they had plans to bulldoze it. And so it just is, it always, when I think about it, and there's been times where, we've even been like, this isn't for us. We need to do something with this. But God just saw us through each step of the way to be able to persevere through the hardness of it and, make it into what it is today, which we can always still use growth, but it is still very cool because we went through COVID. So there was a large period of time that we didn't even know if we were going to see it open.
So there's a pivotal moment with this building that, you go through the course of your life, and there's highlights that stand out to you that I remember, as I'm sure everyone else does too. So the amount of hoops that we had to jump through for this building has been extensive. The amount of hurdles we've had to overcome and obstacles. So there was a moment in time we had to have environmental tests, and the bank wouldn't loan us any money unless we did have environmentals. I'll tell you a fun little thing after that, after I tell you about the environmentals. So we work with this girl, and her name is Chloe. And she comes in, she does the soil test, she does the building test, she does the asbestos, the lead, all the things. She does the history of this building. So if you've never been associated with an environmental test, the book is this thick. It is extensive. Every single thing this building has ever been, we know. Every single thing, every person that's owned this building, there's aerial views, it is extensive. So one of our last meetings with her, I was praying so hard. Lord, you have to make a way. You have to open this door. You have to inspire us again. We were very weighed down. It was almost becoming depressing, and we didn't know which, if we were going to continue forward, because we had to get environmentals on faith. We had to pay for environmentals on faith because we didn't know how they were going to turn out. And the bank said they wouldn't loan us any money without them. So you can understand the situation, the predicament that we were in. So one of the last meetings we had with her, she said, I have really sobering news for you. She said, you only own this property only owns this building. You don't have a parking lot. You don't have a way to pull into your building. You don't own that. You won't own it if you buy it. And so I said, okay, Jesus, thank you. That was as clear of an answer as we could ever ask for. So I thanked him. I went home, exhaled, and we knew. So I said, okay. I hadn't been in my door of my house for probably not even a minute, and the phone rang, and it was Chloe, and she said, craziest thing, the satellite must have been off. You guys not only own a driveway, but you own some parking spots.
And you own the whole back lot.
And you own the whole back lot. It actually comes with 3 pieces of property. Okay. I guess we continue on. That was the toughest moment for this property in this building. And not that it was smooth sailing beyond that point. There were a few others, but that was the moment that I knew we were meant to be here. I mean, a satellite was off. Okay.
Well, and that's God works in really mysterious ways, because that was one, we felt like God gave it to us and then took it away from us immediately. And so just the lesson, holding on to things lightly is such a hard one to learn in life, because we grow attached to things. We love things, and to let it go before it even turned into anything was like, okay, I trust your plan. And then just be quiet. Don't say anything else.
He gave us the name. He gave us the building. He moved the satellite. And so another fun detail, we get the environmentals. They're good. We can do anything we want here, except we can't have a daycare here. That's the only thing that we can't do. And that's because daycares are so sensitive for environmental tests, as they should be. Okay, so we take the environmentals to the bank. We we give them the whole spiel of what we're going to do. We take our tax returns, we take our environmentals, we take our business plan, we take every single thing that the Small Business Administration tutored us to take to the bank. We sit down, he's holding the book, he looks everything over, and he said, there is no way I will give you a loan for this building. Yet again, we felt defeated. I will never forget what that felt like in that moment, that he was just like, absolutely not. I will not give you a loan for this building, which ended up being so beautiful. God paid for this building. God gave us the money at each and every turn. Every single aspect of the renovation of this building was paid for as we went. So again, don't rely on man. Rely on God. He's the one that makes things happen. And he's the one who ultimately stops things that shouldn't happen. So it's really good. I was talking earlier. I'm really blown away by this one little tidbit. One of my most favorite quotes that I've ever heard in my life is, once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. And that has been so true in my life, in the life of my family and my children and my grandchildren and our business, in every endeavor that we've ever set out to do. That quote has ring true. And I never knew where it came from. I just knew that I loved it and it meant something and it was valuable and it was true. And so I felt very, very drawn to go to the library the other day and get a book called The Alchemist. And I don't know if you ever read it. It's a wildly popular book. I feel like I'm the only one who hasn't read it. That's where the quote came from. It's all through. I'm halfway through the book and it's the theme of the book. Once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. So that is the blessing that I'm placing on our podcast. It's the blessing that was placed over our business. It's the blessing that was placed over every endeavor we've ever set out to do. And another thing that occurred to me as we were starting to get ready for this podcast was it's going to be good. It is going to be beautiful. It's going to be purposeful. It's going to have meaning and value. And all of those things are things that enrich our lives. Those things are things that encourage and inspire to keep moving forward. So it's a blessing that I'm placing over our podcast. I hope you all enjoy it.